back. What kind of tips do you have for us today?
We have just a few. We're going to fit the ribs into the actual horizontal and the elevator today. And there's just a couple things. So as we start off, we're going to mark, according to the manual, where these ribs are placed in the tail feathers. And so as we do that, I would use pencil, and only pencil. If you use a Sharpie or a pen, it tends to stain the powder coat.
Will it go through the fabric?
It can eventually bleed through the fabric and cause marks to come through in your paint scheme, and nobody wants that.
Well, maybe you want that, I don't know.
I didn't want that, so we're not going to do it that way. So just a standard number 2 pencil, okay? So follow the manual. You're going to find the center mark first of the horizontal tube, and then we're going to place those marks on the big tube. Next, you can use a carpenter's square, and this is long enough that if you come in here, line that up on the mark, straighten it with your tube, then you can carry that right to the leading edge tube. And now we know we are perpendicular with this tube, okay? And so we'll repeat that as we go down. Tip number 2, actually to me is more of a rule, and that is that we always use the hinge line as our constant. And that is actually really quite critical once we get to the vertical and the rudder aspect, because those have fiberglass caps and you don't want to have those ribs be wavering in any way. We want to use this tube as our constant, which means that any adjustments we're going to make to these ribs for fitment are going to be done on the leading edge of the horizontal or the trailing edge of the elevator,
right.
Leading edge of the vertical, trailing edge of the rudder, that sort of thing. So that way our ribs all maintain a constant shape, and any adjustments we're doing are done on the leading edge here, okay?
Okay.
And then let's talk tools for just a minute. You can use your favorite rotary device that turns a bit here at the end. It could have a battery or a cord. It really doesn't matter. They all pretty much do the same thing. So pick your favorite brand, pick your favorite
color.
Color, whatever's comfortable to you. If you're loyal to something, get it. That's cool. So there's times that the cordless is really handy. There's times that I like the power of having the constant power of the corded, yeah, where it's plugged in all the time. So the thing I want to emphasize actually is what we have in the rotary tool here, and that is the Permagrit tools.
Okay.
I discovered these years ago and have just been really, really happy with them. They're a little more money up front, a little more initial investment, but they last so much better than a lot of the disposable, you know, the paper drums and things like that. Those will blow up and go off into the universe and sometimes hit you in the face, but these are tungsten carbide, so they're not going to wear as quickly, they're not going to break down. You shouldn't use these on metal, so that would be the thing. If you're doing something where you're grinding metal, this isn't going to be your deal, but if you are going to be cutting a lot of wood and shaping like we're going to be doing here, you're going to see us use these a lot throughout the build. They're just extremely well built. They last. Just been really, really happy with them. They have different grits, and they have different shapes, and they have different sizes and things like that. They also offer files and sanding blocks that you can get. So they're really a neat tool. Great product, great company, and so we'll show you more of that here as we go. Okay.
Are those all the tips?
Oh, I'll probably say some more things as we go along, but we can get to work now.
Let's start now.
All right, as we get started, we've got ribs that have already been varnished because we already discussed why we do that ahead of time.
We did that.
Okay. Let's jump in and start fitting these. Every one of our welded pieces is done in a fixture, right? But they will vary just a little bit where the bends are and actually what the welds look like on each individual piece. So we're actually going to notch the rib to fit around welds and to fit over tubes. We might have a little extra powder coat here. We might need to take a rib down here and there to just make it fit, make it work. The best way to start, put the piece up to the weldment and see what we need. Okay? So as I try and put this over the tube, you can see it's not fitting at all. So we're going to need to open this up just a wee loss to fit over there. Okay. Yep. And then back here, I'm seeing that we've got these welds. Okay.
Right.
So we're going to want to fit around the weld here. I'll just kind of draw that to illustrate it. Okay.
You want it right up next to the rib.
We want it right up next to the metal part. Yep. So we're going to just kind of notch this off the ends here. Now, I'm only going to cut into this rib. I'm going to give it a little bit of a cope rather than cutting that whole tail off, okay? Now, you could actually just cut the whole thing off, come back, fill it with high sol later when you glue these in. High sol makes up for a lot. It depends on how you want that rib to fit. So if you want to rely on a fillet, you know, that sort of thing, you can.
What kind of fit are we looking for?
Okay, good question. You really want a net fit. So we don't want to come in and cram this guy in here to where we have stress on that rib and it's moving around. We don't want this tension. We don't want this on the rib because it's going to cause it to be crooked in the weldment once it's all done. We want it to just kind of sit in there. Okay. We can also use super glue to hold these in place and then come back and do a really nice clean fillet with our high sol. We'll talk about that in the high sol video. Okay. All right, so let's begin with just kind of notching these out a little bit. We'll give a little extra here and we'll take a little bit off the back.
First of all, I love that smell. Second of all, it looked like you were really close to taking that whole tail off, but just not quite.
Depending on the size of the weld, you may have to.
Okay.
You may have to, and it kind of is what it is. You
To
know?
work around it.
Like so many other things, make it work. So let's trial fit this guy back here, see what we get. Okay, so that's going to allow us to get pretty darn close. Not really, actually. No. More. We've got to take more. I'm also seeing that this guy here isn't seating quite well here, so I'm going to take just a little bit out of that as well.
Okay.
So case in point, we have an oversized weld there that just kind of hangs past that metal rib. So I've given it just a little bit of a
Extra. Right up against the rib, right up against the tube. Look, it's so nice.
So it looks like I'm really hogging this out quite a bit. The really important part to leave is right here. This middle part right here is actually dictating where this rib is stopping, okay? If we get too crazy, we'll end up with a lot of movement up and down too, right? But I'm just notching for these welds and leaving this center part here. So now we can still bring that in and stop it. Just a hair more, just a hair. Make it work.
Now you did cut the tail off.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what it needed.
That's exactly what it needed. So
Well, that's okay.
now it's just going to tie right into that weld.
That's where he cut the tail off.
And we'll just make that a fillet with high sol, and we'll just finish that off, okay? Everything else fits nice. Muy happy.
I do see a little bit of a gap in between the tube and the rib. Is that okay?
Yeah, and we can adjust a lot of it when it comes time to glue.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll clamp, we'll hold, we can use some super glue to hold it in place, but we don't have any binding anywhere. So this is it's a happy rib, okay?
Okay. Hey, let's do some more.
Let's do some more.
How many?
All of them.
So this is going to line up here, which means it has to go, the rib has to go over this bar, which means it should go over there, but it's not.
We have an interference.
So we've got to relieve in here.
So the slot could be undersized just a little bit. We've
Okay.
got a little varnish buildup in there, and we could have a heavy powder coat on here.
Could be any
and
of
all
those.
those things together means the rib doesn't fit.
Yep.
So fire up the Dremel, just take a little bit out of there. Okay.
Down
So
this way.
let's start at the leading edge. Just make one constant trip
Loop.
all the way around that opening.
And then see how it does?
Yeah.
So it's cut, fit, oh, not even close.
Not even close.
Cut, fit, cut, fit.
The reality is, this can be a little big passing over this tube. It's not going to be visible. It's not going to, the only part holding it is actually at the very back here, which we're probably going to end up cutting
Opening.
anyway, where we want to put a little bit of an angle on that so that it fits nice and we can get a good glue joint there. But the reality is the rest of this can be open a little more. So if you go over a little bit, it's okay. All right, let's try that out.
I made a mess.
But Now it goes over it easily, okay?
Okay.
But we're short,
Yep.
right? So
It's not reaching that front
so
tube.
let's bring that back. Here's a little trick. Put this in here, and because of the way the tube goes at an angle, you can actually bring it in this way.
Ah.
Okay. If you go over it, you're gonna have to bend this and make a mess of it. So you can
easier.
just set that back there, move over. Okay.
Yeah, it needs some more
Yeah. So we need to relieve that. Probably
to angle it this way.
a little more than 1/8 of an inch. We'll start with a fat 1/8. No offense to the skinny 1/8s. Okay. And then let's go ahead and open these up just a hair as well.
Okay. You got it.
Let me show you another little trick real quick.
Quick trick.
See how it's burning the wood?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going a little fast. Slow it down just a little bit. If we slow it down, it's less likely to burn the wood. And then I like to move it.
Aha.
Okay. Cuts a little better and it keeps from burning the wood. Okay. So as we come in here, we're going to try and take off quite a bit of material there.
And so that could burn it if it's going too fast.
So I'm just coming down to that line and then I'll start my angle.
You're almost done. I'm on the third one.
What are you saying?
I'm doing okay. Fine, how are you?
You're on the third one, I'm on the...
Almost the last one.
Well, I'm faster. Quite.
Yeah. New person.
New person.
But I would like you to check that. I'm close, but you just tell me. Where do I need to be?
So I would hog this out.
That whole thing?
Yep.
You think that's where it's holding up?
And on the bottom.
On that weld?
So come in here like this.
I was doing
You
okay.
haven't done anything on the bottom, and that's the bigger weld actually.
Oh, okay.
And then just boom. So what I'm doing on the front here is just kind of dishing that out. From this side of the rib, you can't tell. Okay, so that means that we'll have a nice fixture to work from here. Okay, we're maintaining the shape of the rib, but I'm just notching it on the back side. I'm kind of back
Relieving
beveling that.
it.
Yeah. I can borrow that for just another sec.
And this is something that's going to take patience. And there's just kind of no way around that.
I'm a little short of that sometimes. Huh. Boom.
Oh yeah, that looks nice.
Okay, so what it was doing, it was holding this to where we had a gap up in the front here. It was pushing that rib forward and wasn't allowing it to seat against our tube.
Okay. But we're doing so good. By we, I mean you.
Okay, so this last one gets a little tricky because we have a lot of weld around here and we're intersecting two tubes. We want to stay on this back tube, but you can see this isn't going to go over, but we want this straight. So we're going to have to notch this to fit over that tube, clear the weld back here, and still stay on this big tube. Okay, let's do it.
Hey, can you come check this one?
That looks pretty good. What are your concerns?
Is this hole, there's like a gap there. I didn't bevel it really, it just is a
So you
straight
kind of
hole.
overcut it a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay, so that's not the end of the world. What we're going to do is come back and fill that, we'll create a fillet of high sol around that when we go to glue it in, and then that'll lock it on.
It'll fill
So
it.
yeah, as long as you're fit good at the front, fit good at the back, where those aren't creating any undue pressure, yeah, we can easily remedy that. Same thing at the front. Even if you had a gap at the front, we can come back in, pack that with
extra
high
high sol.
sol. As long as it's kind of lined up where it should be, it'll be just fine.
Okay. Okay, I just am gonna ask before I ruin the rib.
Okay.
It just caused a plus. Okay, so I've got this far, but it seems like it's hitting this tube right here. And so I know normally we're wanting that to stay rounded to stay up against this tube, but can I notch that to get around? Why are you showing me that? Okay, so you do have to make it look like a spaceship.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. The narrower you can keep this middle section, where we're going to notch it for that tube intersection and that weld intersection, the better.
The tighter the
It
fit.
still gives us this outside
Okay.
to kind of hold against the tube, and that's really what we're after.
Okay.
So we want it there, but we are going to have that little dimple.
Got my fingers on the post, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go. Catch a suntan on the roof of the yacht, penthouse elevator, take us up to the top. In my suede jacket, always bringing the magic. I got the top pulled down in my automatic. You know my everyday life may sound dramatic, but when you got it like this, gotta make it a habit. Can't stop loving what I got. Ooh, yeah, it hits the spot. I'm feeling my soul. Big boost to my confidence and turn the attitude up to 100%.
Lay
to cut the
lay
whole
the
thing?
cutter down. Like that.
Haha. This is that three-dimensional thing that I'm not the best at. Oh, look how pretty that is.
Works pretty good, huh?
Sweet.
One more riff. Grab that guy. I'm going to let you do the easy one.
Oh, you mean they weren't all the easy ones?
No.
Yep, looks good to me. It's good to give it to me. I'll do it. I don't know what I've got to do, but I'll do it.
So you need to open up the leading edge a little bit and
And
take
then
it back
bolt.
just a little bit.
I'm a diamond mine. When I look in the mirror, can't believe my eyes. That's me. That's me. I'm a real cool cat.
I just don't go quite as aggressive as you, I think is what happens, and so it takes me.
So let's turn that around. Yep, there you go. So our bevel's going that way.
It's still, it's so close, but got 1/8 of an inch.
1/8 to go.
Yeah.
So we're not going to take off 1/8 of an inch.
No, like you have to move it just a little bit.
I'll let you wrap it up.
Take
Take us home, Mama. She's not even using a pencil now. She's going totally rogue,
Oh, I haven't been
Totally.
using a pencil the whole time.
totally eyeballing it. Fantastic.
Who needs a pencil? Check, please.
Done?
Check it.
Whoo! On the money.
How'd I get so good?
I don't know. She's
Practice.
Good. She's very good. Well, now we're left with just a few little rough edges, and we can clean that up with some sandpaper and make sure we don't have any slivers or anything hanging out there.
Okay.
But you can see it's pretty painless, pretty quick. We'll continue on with the elevator, and then we'll work on bonding everything. So that's a wrap, as they say, and we'll see you on the next one. Whoa!
Where are your protective goggles?
Protective goggles are for pussies. Heard it here first.
Who gave you a microphone?
I don't know. I should.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, quick trip to the ER, and
And we're
we're
back.
doing good. Pretty good, I'd say. Can't take that guy anywhere. And it's not going to be in the shot. No, no. We'll replace that rib. Airplane. So as we lay this first part in here, the easiest thing to do is just put it in. Just put it in. Just put it in. Okay. Okay. The tip of the tongue,
Teeth the lips.
the teeth, the lips.
So inappropriate.
I'm working with rookies here.
You're the rookie.
Okay.
Not so aggressive. Oh my gosh.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I heard it. That doesn't look like it fits.
What? You rolling?